That's it, that's my lift going. Nothing for it now but to get into the walking. Let's go. G'day viewers, Lawrie here again. I'm over in East Gippsland and just doing a coastal walk. Gotta watch those branches. And we're just heading down the coast, doing an overnighter. Gonna try and get a little bit of fishing in and just have a little bit of an adventure. Beautiful weather. Unfortunately, I'm here by myself this time. Nothing for it but to get out here by myself and get a bit of a short hike under my belt. Beautiful day. As I say, solo trip today. So unfortunately, Kurt and Anna couldn't make it. They're both tied up with work, and it was a little bit short notice to tee up anything with any of my mates. So just one of those odd occasions where you got to do it all by yourself, and nothing wrong with that too. Sometimes it's nice to just have a little bit of a short trip away, you know, just by yourself with your own thoughts and that sort of thing. Of course, the downside to that for you guys is that you're going to have to put up with a lot of my stories, whereas normally Kurt or Anna would have to listen to them. Now it's your turn. I've got a bit of a background in horticulture, and so of course I've always got a story about the plants and things that we see along the way on these trips. Okay, let's go and have a look at and see what we can find. Well, here we are walking along, and I already see something that I find interesting. This one goes under a couple of different common names, but probably the one used most is native fuchsia. This is Coria reflexa. And what I really find interesting about these is that next level up in the classification system, these are actually in the family Rutaceae. And in most people's backyards, you'd actually have a plant that's in the Rutaceae family, and that's a lemon tree or an orange tree. Your citrus trees are actually in Rutaceae, so this plant has more in common with your citrus tree in the backyard than it does with any of these other trees around here, like the eucalypts or the casuarinas. I just find that fascinating. Well, and another plant I really love is the Banksias. In fact, they're probably my favourite of all the Australian plants. The Banksias are probably my favourite. And you know, a lot of people like the wattles. You know, wattle being the floral emblem of Australia. But I don't know, there's something about the Banksias that just does it for me. So what we're going to do is go and have a look at a special one that grows just around here if I can find it. Just a bit of background with the Banksias. So around here you get this bloke here. This is Banksia serrata, or the old man Banksia. Also in the bush here you've got Banksia integrifolia, which is the coastal Banksia, and you also get Banksia marginata, which is the silver Banksia. But there is one little population just down here of a very special Banksia that only grows in this area. So we'll pop down and have a bit of a look at it. Oh, look at that sea out there, over in the distance. And here we are in the heathland, just next to the coast, and I'm standing in a field here that is full of Banksia croajingalensis. Now, this is a really unusual Banksia. It's only known from about 300 specimens that grow in this area, and here's one right in front of me, so I'll turn the camera around. Now we've come a bit late in the season, so we should have really been here a month ago or even 6 weeks ago, and these would have been in their prime, but right at the moment we're just right at the end of their flowering. What makes Banksia crowijinglensis different to the other Banksias around here, like Banksia integrifolia or Banksia marginata, is that they flower in reverse fashion. And what I'm talking about here, so each of these isn't actually a single flower, that's actually like 100 flowers or more than 100 flowers on one spike. And what happens is that these open from the top down. You'll see these ones are at the top are completely finished, whereas these ones down below are still making a go of it. So they opened at the top and they've and then worked their way down, and these ones at the top are now finished, and hopefully we'll be producing seed this year. So on Banksia integrifolia and Banksia marginata, they'd start flowering from the bottom and then work their way up the stem. So that's the major distinguishing feature. Most of these plants are only about 600 mil high, so 2 feet high. So they're not a particularly tall shrub. There are some crosses around here where they do get taller. So crowijinglensis can cross with integrifolia, the Banksia, the coastal Banksia. But the ones that are so-called true to form tend to be quite a low shrub. Another thing I find really interesting about all the Banksias, they all have what's called proteoid roots. Now in Australia we've got really poor soils, and a lot of our phosphorus is tied up, well, either it's low in phosphorus or it's tied up in such a way that a lot of plants can't access it. So how these Banksias get around it, they've adapted. So they actually have proteoid roots, and the roots are very fibrous, and they actually exude a mild acid into the soil, and that actually dissolves the soil and frees up the phosphorus and the other nutrients. So yeah, a really interesting adaptation. Fun stuff. So nothing's ever straightforward. So there are some people that feel that crowijinglensis shouldn't be its own species, that you know, it's probably only just a cross that's occurred naturally. But even in that, you know, there's one theory that goes that what we're seeing now is a cross between what was a plant that existed as a separate species, crowijinglensis, that is now only exists as crosses in this grouping. But I find that really fascinating itself, because it's almost like a living fossil in that regard. It's if I use another analogy, it's like the fact that Homo sapiens, people like ourselves, most of us have some degree of Neanderthal genetics mixed in with ours. And it could well be the case that to some varying degree, crowijinglensis only exists here as a hybrid with other Banksias that occur in this area. But that too is an interesting story in itself, or at least I think so. Okay, back underway again, making our way through this heathland. Oh, look at the, yeah, you can, as you can tell, I'm easily distracted. We've still got a fair way to go to the camping spot I've got in mind for tonight, so we better not dilly-dally, get a few kilometres under our feet. But yeah, I'm not even sure the estuary we're heading to will be holding much water. So I don't know, fishing could be terrible once we get there, but we can only give it a try and see how we go. Rightio, off we go. Well, I can hear that the crashing of the waves getting louder and louder, so we are nearly there, I'm thinking. Let's see what we see around this corner. Take this a little bit slow so I don't go A over T. Yep. Lift you up. Yeah, looking good. There's a nice reveal for you. Look at that. Can't wait to get a lure in there. There you go, there's a cormorant. So that at least suggests that there's a few fish around. So I might have the place to myself. There are no recent, the only recent footprints are dingo tracks. Quite a few dingoes around here. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay, let's go find that campsite. Yep, this'll do me. Get a bit of a fire going. Wonderful. Looking forward to waking up to that in the morning. Time for a quick drink and then we'll get into some fishing. Start with a big soft plastic. Let's go catch a fish. let's see if we can get a couple of casts into those snags over there. Can't let that soft plastic drop too much. There's a fair bit of weed in there, so get right up there. Right on a snag. Well, might go get us a fire started instead. Get something to eat as well. Looking forward to that. Oops. Yep, hot. Oh, it tastes nice. Wow, what a fantastic day it's been. Beautiful hike. Wonderful things to see along the way. No fish, but there's still plenty of time for that. I'm just chilling here in front of the fire. Starting to get a little bit of a nip in the air now, so I think I won't be long and I'll retire to the abode and tuck myself in, and I'll catch you in the morning. Cheers. Well, I don't think it's a sunny day that was forecast, but might as well get up and make the most of it. What's it like it? Oh. Yeah. A cloud around. We had a little bit of rain last night. That wasn't forecast either. Okay, let's get out. Looks like there could be a bit of a gutter out here. We'll give that a bit of a run. Oh, that sunset's looking nice. Sunset. That sunrise is looking nice. Hey, we're on. Hopefully my line holds up. Is it only a little brem rod, this thing, so it's no monster, but come on. Ah, lost him. Hopefully there's another one out there. Hey, on again. Oh. Well, I thought I dropped him there, but here he comes. There we go. Little Australian salmon. What a beautiful little fish. Away he goes. See you, mate. Look at that. What a beautiful morning. Yep, on again. See if we can land this one. Wait for this wave. There he is. Come on up. There we go. Twin to that last one. And off just as easy as that. Thank you, Mr. Salmon. Away you go. And off he goes. Woohoo! Magic day. Well, I thought I was on, but we're not setting any records with this one. Off you go, mate. I'll see if I can upgrade that one. Another little fella. Little sardine, that one, but they're all good fun. On again. Another little one. There we go. Get him straight back in the water. There you go. Look at that, right at the end of the line. Hope I don't get smoked by a big fish. Oh, on again. Another little bugger. Oh, did I lose him? I think I might have dropped him in that wave. There we go. Time for some brekkie. Let that brew for a bit. Getting a bit of cereal. Well, that's my footprint from yesterday, and as you can see there's a dingo footprint right in the middle of it. Same with that one over there and over here too. I thought I heard something sneaking around the tent last night, and I think there's your answer. Paw print that size, definitely dingo. Good on them. I like having them around. I think it's a good thing. Oh, on again. Could be a little bit better this one. Might have a little bit more size. There he is. Beautiful little salmon. Let's get him back in the water. Well, that was a fantastic session. Had a lot of fun catching those little salmon. Nothing worth keeping, but just good fun to be catching them and letting them go for another day. Hopefully they'll come back as bigger fish. Anyway, time for me to start thinking about packing up. I've got a rendezvous back up at the car park. You know, I've got a few k's to get there, so better get into it. Campsite's all packed up, gone around, cleaned up all the rubbish, even some that was here from when I arrived, which is disappointing, but anyway, is what it is. Fire's out, and I'm certainly going to leave this campsite cleaner than when I got here. Even picked up a bit of a boogie board. Must have washed up at some stage, and anyway, I'll lug that one out with me as well. Do my little bit. Keep these campsites clean for other people. Going to be a nice hike out. I'm looking forward to seeing what I see on the way. More trees across the track. So best way to do this, because I've got the fishing rod sticking up, is turn around, bend over and go backwards. And see, hopefully don't trip over anything. More. Good. Through there without breaking my rod. Off we go. Right, and here we are, back to the Shipwreck Creek crossing. And we're practically back at our rendezvous point. Here we go. Let's see if I end up covered in mud. Look at that. Slippery rocks. Oop, there we go. Nearly. Oh. Made it. Here we go. Here's my lift. Just a little early, but that's perfect. I predict a chili and cheese pie from the Malakuta bakery in my near future. Well, even better when your lift actually anticipates what you're after and brings you a chili and cheese pie. These are yummy pies. I rate these about an 8.5 out of 10. Got to get them if you're at Malakuta. Go to the Malakuta bakery. Yum yum. All is good. Check out that chili. Yum. Good texture. Nice flavour. Yeah, definitely an 8.5 out of 10.